All right, let's get more on this with Wei Gu. She is the editor of China Wealth and Luxury for the Wall Street Journal. Wei, good to see you.
Good morning.
So, Hong Kong is now the most expensive place for foreign workers or expats to live. That's according to a study by consulting firm Mercer. What has driven Hong Kong to the top of this list?
It's mostly rent. Well, Hong Kong is notorious for its small space and high rent. Well, part of that is because taxes are low here. So high rent and high property prices was just part of the taxes from Hong Kong government.
Well, the Hong Kong dollar has long been pegged to the US dollar. So how much of a factor is the strong dollar here? And considering the Fed's future action, what would that mean for Hong Kong's prices?
Right. Well, Hong Kong dollar, the strength of it recently has been a major impact for the retail sector. So it has made things like clothing, restaurant bills, cosmetics much more expensive than before. So Hong Kong used to be the kind of the shopping heaven because of no tax here. So a lot of mainland tourists like to come. But nowadays, because of the strength of the US dollar, then in turn reflected in the Hong Kong dollar, and also high property prices as well, waning on prices. So as a result, it has become quite not affordable. And you see a lot of mainland tourists going to Korea and to Japan for bargains.
Well, you know what? If you need to grab a cup of coffee in between your shopping in Hong Kong, it's going to cost you just under $8. That is double what it costs in London. In the US, it's about $2, $2.50. Why is there such a disparity?
Well, I actually didn't realize that it's $8. With Starbucks or Pacific Coffee downstairs, where you will set you back by $4. McDonald's in Hong Kong is actually one of the cheapest in the world, probably because of high competition in Hong Kong in the food prices, in the food sector, in the low-end area. So in Hong Kong, you can still choose to live cheaply if you shop in wet markets, if you eat in small restaurants, kind of the mom and pop, hole-in-the-wall places. You can spend $5 and have a lunch, and even a sandwich is not that expensive. When it comes to high-end five-star restaurants, the bar areas, it can be more expensive. A drink may be $10, just mundane tea or soft drink or juice can set you back by $10. So it's really a rich man's playing ground in Hong Kong, but it's still possible to live a middle class life here. But the space is a big constraint.
So there are some cheaper eating options, but you've pointed this out, and you really can't deny that Hong Kong does have the least affordable housing in the world, the highest rental costs. Rent for a decent two-bedroom, $600 to $800 compared with New York's average of $5,100. But we have started to see a cooling in the housing market. Hong Kong property prices have declined. Sales are hovering near a 25-year low. That's according to Bloomberg. So what is your outlook for Hong Kong's housing market?
Well, it's interesting. The Hong Kong market has gone through some weakness. It's because of a couple of reasons, and I want to highlight one here, which formerly international companies, especially the investment banks, they are paying really good housing expat packages. For example, anything from $10,000 a month to $20,000 a month. So that's driving prices up on the peak and in mid-levels, and people are expecting to pay that much for a three-bedroom apartment, which is really outrageous. What's changing here is the banking sector isn't doing that well, and banks are cutting these expat packages, in turn changing them into all cash packages. So when you have to foot your own bill of paying your own home, even though your total compensation may not be changed that much, and people are getting a lot more price conscious. So that's on the international front. But on the other hand, mainland Chinese are still coming here to deal with pollution in China, which is driving them away to Hong Kong. And Hong Kong's role as an offshore money management center has been rising as well. So what we're seeing is people living on the peak. There are still a lot of people living on the peak, but instead of having lots of Westerners who are executives at banks, now it's mainland tycoons and entrepreneurs.
All right, thanks for your insight. We're going to have to leave it there. Wei Gu, editor of China Wealth and Luxury for the Wall Street Journal.